First motion, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $1,000 from account 11241-000-578300 citywide reserve fund for transfer to account 16101-000-532010 public library tuition and books for a library employee who has completed 2 summer courses is eligible for reimbursement according to contract agreement.
Second.
I think as it says, it's in the contract for the tuition reimbursement. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The next motion, I entertain a motion to elect Kenneth Owens, 14 Perrin Street, Attleboro, Mass., to the position of Administrative Assistant of the Council, term to begin October 1st, 2015, and expire February 2016.
Second.
Thank you, and Ken is with us this evening. If you want to come to the podium, please, Ken. And I know I had a chance to speak with you last week, as many other counselors have had the opportunity, and since it's a council position, what I'll do is when I open the floor, I'll kind of just go around if anyone has, because I think everyone might have a question, just to go around and open the floor up, whether you want to say welcome, have questions, or any other input, because I do believe everyone sitting here will have something to add. So, Ken, I
Yes.
was very pleased to speak with you.
Thank you.
And your resume, and I was impressed.
Thank you.
And you're coming down, if you want to just, before we go into questions, if you just kind of want to go over your background,
Okay.
and then transitioning into the position that we will maybe approve, if we do, but
Okay.
hopefully.
Well, I am a lifetime public employee, so I was with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts since 1999 in a number of increasingly more responsibility management positions. So my first job was at the State House. I was the legislative director for the committee, well, the then Committee on Commerce and Labor, and I did that for 5 years, and then entered the agency. So I've worked for, see if I can remember them all, Department of Industrial Accidents, the Department of Unemployment Assistance twice, and the Cabinet Secretary's office. And now I'm here.
Which
Hopefully.
will be a good asset too, because we always say Linda's kind of the first barrier, into not barrier, but that first contact. Sometimes when they call the office before they can get in touch with us, and she's done a wonderful job, obviously, and I'm sure everybody's told you that.
Yeah, shoes to fill.
So in talking to you, I can see that you're very an objective person, because the person that would be in that office would necessarily have 11 people. And objectivity is one thing that Linda has always had, and I do see you having that objectivity, that to keep it professional. So I do also appreciate that too.
Thank you.
And any other questions? As I said, I'm sure everyone will probably have a question. We'll go just around if you want to. If not, pass. How's that?
Sure. Fine. Thank you, Chairman. Welcome.
Thank you.
They are big shoes, or actually very tiny shoes that you but could you maybe give us some examples of some of what your job responsibilities were? Just a generalization over the course of the different. I also read your resume. It is incredibly impressive. I'm pleased to see that you've been a long-term resident of Attleboro, so you know our community pretty well. So that's fantastic. But maybe just a couple of points that some things that you enjoy doing in your variety of jobs, and some things that you feel that you have a very great knowledge of.
I mean, I think all my jobs have been different. So I've been fortunate enough that I was asked to take on more and more responsibilities, at least within the secretariat that I was in. So I've been with one department, per se, and just worked in various capacities for the different secretaries. But I think my job at the State House is most similar to this. I reported directly to the chairman, and we had House and Senate committees, so senators and representatives, and it's sort of given me at least the ability to multitask, to understand the nature of politics and what my role is, and being confidential and neutral, and just making sure that I'm someone that you can at least feel confident in having represent you when you're not here. So it's very, very familiar. We multitasked a lot, a very small staff, with everyone being your boss, but only one person being your boss is sort of that was the nature of the beast. But that was less management driven than my other roles. They were for sure senior roles. So I think my smallest staff was maybe 20, and I left unemployment assistance with 200 people reporting up to me, managers, supervisors, union, non-union. So I think I understand public service in all roles, for sure.
Thank you. Great answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just not going to regurgitate everything everybody said. You keep us here all night, but welcome aboard, and
Thank you.
you know, I'm sure we will all try to be helpful as you make this transition. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ken, welcome. I'm going to express my own personal feelings now.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that I'm the only one that feels that way. But I'm very happy to see a person of color working in City Hall and in such a vital position. I've encouraged many of my friends of color to run for office, and they have been very cautious about doing that. And I think that all of us white guy and gals who sit around this table, I think it's a wonderful thing, since you are qualified to do the position. That would be the only thing that would hold me back from not wanting you here, but you are certainly more than qualified for the position, and I'm gratified that you're a man of color, and that I'm sure that my hope is that will encourage others to be involved within the city at an administrative level. And as I say, these are my personal feelings that I've often wondered why we don't have more people of color who participate in the electoral process and all the other stuff that goes on. And it just makes me feel good. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, for sure.
Welcome, Ken. I know we've met a number of times, and I happened to be in the office today, and you got baptized by fire. A phone call, and
Don't feel like you're alone.
you handled it very well.
Oh, thank
very,
you.
very well. So, welcome aboard, and anytime I can be of assistance to you, don't hesitate to call.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you.
I've had a great opportunity to get to meet you a few times and see you in action today. I did stop in, and you were a man in the office, as Linda had left a little early today, and you had it well in hand, and took care of anything you needed to, and that's just your first day. First of many. I'm very much looking forward to working with you in the future. So welcome,
Thank you.
and look forward to it.
Ken, I'm already comfortable working with you. You and I have gotten off on a great start. I'm hoping that you're going to remember what it feels like to stand at that podium, because in the coming years, you're going to meet a lot of people that are coming to you first to say, I need to address the council. What do I say? What do I do? What's it like? And sometimes we're not communicating so clearly with the people who are standing behind that podium. Sometimes we tend to unintentionally be a little challenging to some of the people behind that podium. So I hope that you will encourage people to participate in government and address the council at their will. And remember that it's not so bad. We're really not bad people. We're good people, and we're all looking forward to working with you.
Thank
That
you.
concludes my comments.
Madam Chair. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
As you can see, you're going to be talked at a lot till your ears bleed, so I'm just going to wish you good luck.
Good point.
Ken, welcome. I think one of the most important things that the administrative assistant for the council does is they work with the clerk to make sure that what we say is accurate and gets put in the record, because that's there forever. And just earlier tonight, you saw Linda look something up that Ms. Parika and I had a misunderstanding on, and the record needs to be what's correct. I think you're articulate. I think you're smart. I think you will master that. And welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for doing that. I thought it would be easier just to go. So as you see, all the positivity towards you. So thank you for even applying for the job. And I'm going to support you all the way. And I'm hearing a lot of support for you. So thank you. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now get back to work.
Call to adjourn Personnel and Human Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. I thought that was easier.
The Committee on Ordinances, Elections, and Legislative Matters is canceled tonight.
Committee on Public Works is canceled
They haven't
tonight.
done it yet.
Committee on Transportation and Traffic is canceled tonight.
Committee on Public Safety is canceled tonight.
You got something?
No, actually, I don't. Committee for City Property and Claims is canceled for this evening. Whoa, I was in the middle of it.
Very short night.
Let's see.
I'm going to try to keep it short. I call budget appropriations to order at 7:11. Mr. Cooper, you're my second. Unless Mr. Cook wants to come in, would you be my third, Mr. Blair? Thank you. Thank you. There's three motions this evening, all from the docket of September 15th, 2015. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $7,837.50 from account 11241-000-578300, citywide reserve fund for transfer, to account 16501-000-558090, park and forestry supplies other, to replace the fiber at the playgrounds at Capron Park and Balfour Riverwalk.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. This is a safety issue. Actually, I know a young child that was injured at Capron Park recently, so I'm glad that this is being moved forward. The cushioning material underneath the playground area needs to be replaced, and I'd like to see it get done as quick as possible. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, is that a periodical issue?
Yes, it does come up. It hasn't been done, I don't remember the last time it was done, but it's been a while. They did get three quotes. This was the best quote of the three that came forward. The material was ranged, this was $7,837. Two other vendors, one was $8,372 and the other one was $10,442. The thing is, the one that bid on it and won is also the furthest away, which I thought was interesting.
Okay, the reason I asked, sir, is if it's an issue that's periodical, they have to go out to bid. It's too bad they can't put that in the budget.
Yeah.
That, every other budget, if that's a reoccurring issue, that seems to me.
And actually team up with Park and Forestry to replace their playground areas as well.
They have the same problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And recreation.
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 Sorry.
Thank you.
Recreation areas, that's what I was thinking. So, yes.
I believe that's in recreation's overview on a regular basis. And there are some safety laws. I don't know what the state regulation is, but there's regulations regarding that. And I know Dennis has it in his,
Just,
and
it's just one part of
probably
the park.
So
Yeah.
Park and Forestry should probably do that.
Update that piece.
No, if I may, Mr. Chairman, notwithstanding that they may still have to go out to bid, at least have a general idea
Yeah.
before they put it in the budget, get an idea what that would cost. And I'm sure it goes by the yard?
It does.
Okay,
Cubic yard, truckloads.
thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, 3-0. Next, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to pay Azuz previous year's bills in the amount of $185.64 for Home Depot.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. The bill came in after June 30th, and we need to pay it. But the thing is, the money is already in the revolving account, so it's not a transfer. So you'll notice there were no accounts. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And lastly, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $9,020 from account 112410000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 112410000-524011 Citywide Maintenance of Buildings relative to the steam and water pipe repair work at 95 Pine Street.
Second.
Thank you. As you know, the city, thank you, Mr. Cooper. As you know, the city owns the Richardson School. That's what 95 Pine Street is the old Richardson School. And we know that there's been some need for some repairs in that building for quite a while. In 2010, we replaced the roof because of leaks. We know there was some heating system issues. So Gary, as a member of the board of directors of the CDA Inc., which is the corporation that controls that building, Gary Erasian had John Mamoli go over with a licensed plumber to review any of the repairs that needed to be done now so that those repairs could be done prior to the heating season, to make sure that those repairs are made. There may be an issue down the line of a more involved heating system repair, but the plumber involved and the workers involved felt that they could get the heating system going and get into the heating season without that, but another discussion may happen later on about but that's not, right now, it's not necessary, everything's working, so let's get the leaks fixed, get those pieces. The work came in at $8,200, and the mayor requested a 10% contingency, making it $9,020. Other questions? Mr. Conti?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to comment that this heating system for that building has exceeded its design life by a major factor. And when I last was in the building doing an inspection, I was appalled at the challenge that John faced to try to keep that system running. I applaud the administration for its phased development because that building is enormous.
Yes.
And the expense of replacing that heating system is also enormous.
Absolutely.
But as you know, last year we replaced the boiler, and that was going to be it turned out to be a lot less expensive than I feared. It's a enormously valuable asset for the city, that building. And we have not yet realized its full potential, but I believe that we will. So it's an important capital asset to protect.
Yes.
And I'm very much in favor of the way we're handling it.
Okay.
And that concludes my comments.
Thank you.
So if
Go ahead.
if I understand, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, the amount that this project is going to take will not bring us to the plateau where the ADAs will kick in or anything of that nature.
Which my understanding is 10,000.
We'll still maintain the waiver on that building.
That's my understanding, yes.
That's one of the reasons why it may appear as if we're doing things piecemeal, but it's because we're trying to keep that amount below that ceiling where the ADA improvements would have to be made on the building. As much as we'd like to be able to go and do all of them, obviously make it all ADA compliant, but that'd be a lot of money.
Yeah, we'd be bonding for
gosh, yeah.
significant millions and contractors and so, but
Thank you.
But thank you. Any other questions or comments? I'll move forward for vote. If there are any other questions regarding the Richardson School or this motion that anyone would like me to get from Gary, he's more than willing to respond by email. I talked with him this evening, and for any other additional information. If not, we'll move forward anyway. Move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. That's all the business I have this evening for budget and appropriations. Call to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're
Who is
adjourned.
second chair of zoning? Do we have one?
Me. It's canceled this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
I like the way you handle that.
I would like to call the capital improvements and city development meeting to order at 7:20. Sitting on this committee with me is the Vice Chair, Councilor Denley, and Member Councilor Thibodeau. However, we encourage your comments at any time. I have 7 motions to bring before you this evening. From the docket of September 15, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to accept a quitclaim deed dated May 20th, 2015, and recorded with the Bristol County Northern District Registry of Deeds in Book 22365, page 239, from the MBTA to the city, conveying a small sliver of land on the westerly side of South Main Street containing 1,205 plus square feet, as shown as parcel 4 on a plan recorded with the Bristol County Northern Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 494, page 17. See attached exhibits A1 and A2.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Denley. This sliver of land looks like a crescent moon, and I don't believe it is 15 feet wide at its widest point. It curves along South Main Street where the Intermodal Transportation Center is, and its only useful purpose would be to grow spaghetti. It's a long sliver of land.
Presuming spaghetti could be grown.
Correct. Exactly. So, the motion's in order. Any comments or questions? All that considered, I'll approve. Say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I entertain a motion to accept the easement deed dated May 20th, 2015, and recorded with the Bristol County Northern District Registry of Deeds in Book 22365, page 231, from the MBTA to the city, conveying drainage easements as shown as D2 and D4 on a plan recorded with the Bristol County Northern Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 494, page 18. According to said plan, easements D2 contains 2,544 plus square feet, and easement D4 contains 427 square feet. See attached exhibits B1 and B2.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Denley. This motion is all about the use of the land below the surface. And it is right across the area where the intermodal transportation system is running down to the what is currently the DPW building. So the easement from the MBTA to the city is to allow us to put drain pipes in the ground only. Any questions or comments? No. Motion's in, you have a question? No. Motion's in order. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I entertain a motion to accept the easement deed dated May 12th, 2015, and recorded with the Bristol County Northern Registry of Deeds in Book 22365, page 234, for the Attleboro Redevelopment Authority to the city, conveying a drainage easement shown as proposed drainage easement 1,140 plus square feet on a plan recorded with the Bristol County Northern Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 499, page 70. See attached exhibits C1 and C2.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Denley. Again, this coming from the ARA to the city is for underground use of drainage, and that location is shown on the third plan that we received from the administration, and it is located over in here. This one I didn't highlight. Hold on. In here. Any comments, questions? Okay. Motion's in order, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $9,800 from account 1124110, I'm sorry, 1124100-578-300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1541100-524-011, Council on Aging, Building Maintenance for the replacement of the HVAC unit.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Denley. As you both know, and as all councilors know, we've been discussing this in the capital improvements plan book for the last 6 years that I'm aware of. And it's now to the point where we have a quote, and we're ready to replace the unit. And on a day like today, I think we all understand what a pleasure that would be. Any comments or conclusions or questions?
If you don't
Yes.
mind, thank you. And I thought this was interesting when this came down to the mayor's communication, because of my recollection, I don't have a problem approving the funds, first and foremost, but
So you're not opposed to the motion?
I'm not, I just have some questions.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. So, and hopefully some of my fellow councilors can refresh my memory, but I thought that when the Council on Aging came in front of us to discuss this HVAC unit, that the unit was too large, that it was working appropriately, but it needed to be downsized. So I thought that was that's one question. My second question is that it is a priority 1 in the capital improvements book. So I'm just curious, what is, like, is it broken? Does it not work? Is it not, like, I was just curious why we're moving on this particular item at this time, just out of curiosity.
The reason why we're moving on this item at this time is because the mayor sent it down to the council for action. And it is his inspiration to get it done that is the reason why it's before us, and not all the other projects that are in the capital improvements plan. So I will get an answer for you whether or not this is the same BTU as the unit that they're replacing and the functionality, but I believe that this unit has a increasingly frequent repair schedule
Okay.
that has gotten to the point of obvious, it's time to replace it.
That's fine. And if I may just,
And my guess is that that's what motivated the mayor to send it down to the council.
okay. And I was actually, now that I'm looking at this a little closer, it does say this capital project entails replacing the existing 4-ton HVAC unit with a new 2-ton HVAC unit. And it's actually a little less, it's actually about $1,000 less than what was projected in the capital improvements plan. But I was just, if there was any more information just saying that, not that we're not going to replace it, but I like to hear if it's more of a dire.
I don't read this the way that you read this. The way I read this is
I'm
that
reading
this-
it out of this.
Yeah, well, this is a contract proposal for a 4-ton unit. So if there was a 4-ton unit, they're replacing it with a 4-ton unit.
So then,
not what the book says.
but that's not what the plan is, so perhaps we should find out why the plan changed.
And that we will find out.
Plans change.
Mr. Churchill.
Yes, Mr. Churchill.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Just out of curiosity, being a fledgling here and soon to fly the nest, how often has a issue come down, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, that was either in the budget or in capital improvements that didn't get passed, but ended up before this honorable body anyways? Do you have a track record of that?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
My experience as a department head over the 26 years was a lot of things that would be passed on to the administration, not the gentleman upstairs now, but all the mayors, was that this was important. And when it broke, it was more than important, it was necessary. My question is, and I know that you have a lot of things on your plate, but what I was curious about is how many times this has happened. Obviously, this is one time in recent history. I have a feeling that the high school boiler will be coming before us pretty soon. I'm just curious how many times we have been this honorable body's been approached for either it's in the budget and was it accepted or cut, or was in capital improvements and the priority wasn't high enough, but it ended up before that same honorable body anyways within that budget period. I'm curious about that.
I would say, speaking from my experience of 6 years on the council, that it happens frequently, and when it comes down, it's typically passed. I'm grateful that this did not come down as an emergency measure, as sometimes they do. I think my feelings about the capital improvement plan is based on what I've heard during our deliberations on the plan book, is that we would all like to see additional monies be put into capital improvement in the city. And we all understand the budget constraints of this particular year, of which it's been made clear to me that funds for capital improvements are likely to be diminished this year than in prior years. And in our message to the mayor about this plan, we basically admitted publicly, on the record, that we're not in control of what is actually gonna get put out and finished and what doesn't. So,
What I was trying to do is to, add some light to Councilor Parika's question.
yeah,
And it's been my experience over the years that the administration's prerogative is to correct things that happen. And not necessarily, it's not by design, it just happens. And no matter how well the budget's thought out, there are things that happen that can't be controlled when they happen, and the honorable body has to decide if that money's gonna be spent or not.
correct. And that's the job of the council. You know, my feeling, I think I said this during the capital improvement plan, is that it's hard, what's the saying? It's hard to drain a swamp when you're getting bit by alligators?
Close enough.
Is that close enough?
Yeah. I think we get the picture.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go on a tangent.
Well, it's a tangent that warrants attention, because both you and Councilor Parika are questioning why the plan's changed, and why this now is being addressed. And because it was a holiday weekend, I didn't get an opportunity to talk to the director of the senior center. You can be sure I will between now and next Tuesday night.
As a senior citizen, I will be supporting this.
It's,
You making a declaration, sir?
yes, Councilor Cooper.
Thank you, Councilor Conti. I think what changes I think the capital improvements plan is presented for what's important and prioritized by department heads and the administration at that moment in time.
Correct.
And it's not the prerogative of the administration that changes necessarily, I don't think. I think it's the priority of those things that happen throughout the course of the year that warrant having to send down things like a $9,000 air conditioner for the senior center. I've heard Madeline say many times that the air conditioning unit there is a problem. You know, in the couple of times a year that I go in there, one of them, I'm always sweating to death in there when
It's because you're making soup.
because I'm making soup. But you know, and Madeline's always happy to point out that the air conditioning system, the HVAC needs to be done. So I too, like you, I'm happy that it's not an emergency measure on a day like today, because clearly we wouldn't have been able to have many of the seniors getting the vital service in the senior center if the air conditioning didn't work today. So I'll appreciate anything you come back with, but I think we all understand that, you know, we need to do something there.
Any other, yes, Councilor?
Thank you. Again, the senior center needs air conditioning. I don't have a concern with that. Well, my concern is that we didn't get appropriate backup documentation. We got the bid information, but we didn't get the information stating the reason why this was moved up the priority list. And I would like to have that. I don't have, that's what I would like. And maybe also hearing a little bit about why it had always been planned to be a 2-ton, but now it's back to a 4-ton, if it's more efficient. Any of that kind of information would be helpful. It's not gonna, it just helps me do my homework so that I'm making the appropriate decision. So if you could have that for next week, I'd appreciate it.
It did occur to me to hold on to this for a week. However, it now occurs to me that there's nothing that has been brought up which prevents my committee from putting this through to the council. And I will have every answer that has been addressed tonight available to you next Tuesday night before you have to make a decision.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Motion's in order, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $38,000 from account 1124100-578 300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1124-1000-599 300 Citywide Transfer to Capital Project Fund relative to the painting of the First Mayor's House and the Park and Forestry Building.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Denny. Councilor Kirby, I know you have something to say about this. I don't even have to look at you.
Thank you, Chairman Conti. This project, well, the First Mayor's House has been on the list for capital improvements repainting since 1996. And I am so grateful that from Walter Stitt through Joan Pilkington Smith and Joan Ritchie over at the Literacy Center, and through Rhonda Buke and all those others that have worked, and the volunteers at the Library Board of Trustees who have worked and fought to get this project moving forward. We've done repair to rotted wood, repairs to shingles, repairs, clapboards, repairs to gutters, downspouts. All that was piecemeal. Finally, we're going to go forward with preserving the outside, not just the look and character of this building, but preserve the real jewel that building should look like as you enter the city from that side. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that this project's going to move forward. Not to mention that I'm dying to see how the old, is it the arcade? Not arcade, it was casino building, which is now the Park and Forestry building down in the park, how that's going to look with a new paint job. And I hope some details can be brought out on how that was an old building. And it's kind of blended into the background now, and I'd like to see it stand out. But I'm very glad, and I've been frustrated for years about this one sitting still, and I'm very happy to move this forward. I think we can do this, and I think it's our obligation to protect, again, this as an asset, not unlike the Richardson School, to protect this asset. That is our job within the city, so thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments, questions? Motion's in order. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Now that we've passed that motion, I have the final motion of the evening. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $38,000 from account 1124100-599-300 citywide transfer to capital projects fund as follows: $19,000 to fund 3529 First Mayor's House, and $19,000 to fund 3528 Park and Forestry Administration Building.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Denny. The first motion was to approve the money. The second motion is to divide it into the accounts to get the work done.
Two projects.
Yep, two projects. Yeah. And that's very smart to put the two of them together, I might add. Any other comments or questions, conclusions?
If I may, just a little bit more of what Councilor Kirby said. When we started out, well, actually, it started before I got here, but as the process went through, it seemed like every time we were close to being able to get it done, they found another reason why it couldn't be done. Had to remove lead. Like you said, we had to replace copper gutters and decorative things things we hadn't thought about. But if you're gonna do the job, you wanna do it right. And so it was one delay after another delay, and so much time in between delays, that's the reason why Councilor Kirby is really happy with this, because he's worked on it hard. Several different conglomerations of councilors have sat around this horseshoe, have worked on this particular problem, and I can imagine there's a couple of them where if they're strong enough to watch a meeting these days, I got a big smile on their face. This is finally going to get done, because a lot of people have worked on it over the years. So just glad to see it happen. Very glad to see it happen. Thank you.
Any other comments? Motion's in order. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. That concludes the business that the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee has to bring before the committee tonight. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I declare the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee adjourned at 7:39. Thank you.
Licensing Committee will not be bringing out its motion this evening. I have more research to do. There will be no meeting from the subcommittee of the license.
That's the night.
It's a wrap. Sorry, Mr. Cook.
Thanks for joining us.